First off, I want to thank all you guys for being so great with my father. He's 95, he's sort of having some health problems lately, but this was the time of his life to see all you guys. He wrote this speech out, a week ago. Up until a couple weeks ago, he was going to do it, and then he didn't feel like he could last this long, so he asked me to do it. So, let me just read it as if I'm him, okay? So, hello, I'm Bob McGrath, and I'm honored to be able to address all the former players, coaches, cheerleaders, parents, and Bronco supporters assembled here tonight to celebrate 100 years of Bronxville football. I graduated from Bronxville in 1945, played on the varsity football team for 3 years, married a Bronxville cheerleader. I coached football at Bronxville for about 25 years. And my wife and I still try to get a few Bronco games every year. Thank God for local live at this point. But, so the Bronxville football tradition commenced shortly after the school opened. I've always felt that the Bronxville football program was very special. There were 2 men who coached for 1 year each, and then Daniel Mattei, the head coach, and Arthur Lynch, the assistant coach, came along. They coached for many years and were very successful with many undefeated teams and many Division I players. I was fortunate to play for them for 3 years and gained a lot of information from my older brother who also played for them. Both coaches were very disciplined and their teams represented this. From the first practice on September 1st of each year, it was full pads and a lot of contact. Most of the practices were harder than the actual games. Many times coach would make us do plays until it met his standards. Coach Mattei was the primary offensive coach. He spent many days at coaches' clinics to be abreast of the newest methods. He was acknowledged to be the first coach in Westchester to use the T formation. He combined the strength of the single wing with the T formation. When the lonely end formation came into the system, he insisted on a tight line, and only after the first game did he use the lonely end. His coaching demanded that every player had to know how to block and tackle. The coaches were respected and demanded total discipline. If you missed a block or a tackle or ran the wrong hole, you could expect a hit on the helmet or chest. It taught us to only make a mistake once. His favorite statement, if you made a mistake, was, "You mucklehead." Sounds like Fearman. These 2 coaches were not the favorite faculty members, but most of us realized how they prepared us to know what it took to be a winning team. I think most of their players always contacted the coaches to thank them when they returned from college. One incident I feel portrays the coaches was when we lost to Scarsdale the last game of the prior season. On September 1st, we were on the field. Coach Mattei started telling us that he would not tolerate another loss to Scarsdale. With every point he made, he would push the center back a yard on the field. After a few punches, the center tried to speak, but the coach would not let him until he had gone down the full 100 yards. He finally said, "Miller, what do you want to say?" And Don Miller said, "Coach, I didn't even get in the game." The coach yelled back at him, "Well, that's not my fault." Certain things remain in my mind, such as the way a team gets better by playing a better team, and nothing is better than winning. Nothing is gained by losing. I am sure each coach has his little traits or sayings that he was known for. One of the things Coach Matei was known for was the visiting team. He had the visiting team use the women's locker room, which was right next to his office, for the final instructions so he could be able to hear them. Coach Matei was the head coach for over 25 years. He laid the foundation for the Bronco tradition that follows to this day. That foundation made people realize that a tiny school in Westchester could be successful in athletics because smart kids who were willing to work hard could overachieve. The coaches who followed, people like Jack Fearon, Bill Green, Ron Katina, and then Bob Spinnick, built on that foundation and had enormous success. They produced players like Von Beebe, Roger Hale, Buddy Deniston, Vic Schultain, and Bob Kettle, and Bob Linder, both high school All-Americans, and many others. In 1968, when the all-county team had a first, second, and third team, Bronxville had 3 first-teamers and 1 third-teamer. That was not just Class B or C, that's the whole count, with a graduating class of about 100 kids. But more importantly, the Bronxville tradition built character. To be a Bronco means to win with humility and lose with dignity. After losing to Byram Hills to end the 37-game winning streak, Coach Spinnick didn't blame the refs or the weather, both of which were terrible. I got out-coached and we got outplayed, but we'll get them next year. And they did. And the tradition endured, and Bronxville attracted a line of coaches: Vito Priori, Bill Magner, Jeff Napolitano, and Patsy Manganelli. Who have continued to win games and build character. Who would have thought in 1922 that 100 years later the same principles and tradition would continue? Work hard, play smart, and try your hardest is the Bronco way then and now.
Yes. Let's go! Yeah!
Thank you all. That was, I can't begin to tell you how much it meant to him to see all you guys tonight. It really did. It was phenomenal. So, thank you all very much. Special thanks to Henry, who basically did this whole thing pretty much by himself. Despite the fact that Kofi will claim credit for all sorts of things. So, thank you. It's been great to see all you guys. It's just a phenomenal thing. I can't get over how great this is. So,